Mr. President, were you briefed on the attack plans for the UFC event at the White House? The FBI thwarted an attack.
I haven't heard about it, no. But the attack that I watched were the fighters.
Before the B-52 crash, a shocking assassination plot targeting Trump on his birthday is now being thrust into the spotlight in a dramatic new reveal. Did the FBI just prevent a major attack on one of Trump's largest public events? That is the central question officials and commentators asking after reports emerged of a disrupted plot aimed at a high-visibility appearance, with investigators pointing to a combination of surveillance, informants, and digital forensics used to intervene. Multiple suspects, encrypted chat logs, and plans connected to a White House event together sketched a worrying picture of what was being planned, as law enforcement officials described intercepted communications and logistics that suggested a coordinated attempt to target attendees at a presidential gathering. Following FBI operations, several suspects are now in custody after agents moved to dismantle the plot targeting Trump's UFC Freedom 250 appearance. An enforcement action officials say likely prevented bloodshed and now forms the basis for urgent prosecutions and security reviews. Investigators say as many as 23 individuals discussed carrying out an attack at the White House-adjacent UFC event for Trump, a sprawling web of chatter and planning that authorities allege included target selection, role assignments, and contingency steps before the disruption. The FBI says it thwarted an alleged terror plot targeting the UFC Freedom 250 event after disruption operation disclosed by FBI Director Kash Patel, an announcement officials framed as a result of timely intelligence work and coordinated law enforcement action to protect a high-profile public gathering. The White House South Lawn hosted the UFC Freedom 250 event on June 14, drawing intense national attention as thousands gathered for the spectacle and as the location's symbolic proximity to the presidency raised the stakes for security planners. According to Fox News, encrypted signal chats allegedly showed that 23 people discussed pre-operational activity linked to the plot, communications that investigators say helped establish intent, planning phases, and the roles some participants may have intended to take. News Nation reported on June 16 the finer details of the FBI's revelation, outlining timelines, investigative techniques, and the way federal agents pieced together digital evidence and human intelligence to intervene before any attack could be carried out.
I haven't heard about it, no. But the attack that I watched were the fighters.
Multiple people were taken into custody after the suspected attacks were stopped cold by authorities, an outcome officials described as a successful joint operation that removed imminent threats and enabled further forensic and prosecutorial work. FBI Director Kash Patel said the Bureau first became aware of the alleged threat on June 10, a narrow timeline that underscored how quickly investigators moved from initial detection to disruption in order to prevent potential mass casualty consequences. The FBI director said, and I quote, "While the result represented the best of investigative work, it was also nothing out of the ordinary for this law enforcement team. We are built to detect, respond to, and bring to justice those who threaten the lives of American citizens, particularly during large gatherings like the historic UFC 250 fight," unquote. Importantly, the Secret Service worked alongside the FBI to address the alleged threat, coordinating protective details, information sharing, and operational support to ensure both the safety of the president and the effective disruption of the plot. Sean Curran, Secret Service Director, said, and I quote, "Our most important responsibility is safeguarding the president and every person under Secret Service protection. Equally important to our protective mission is ensuring accountability through the justice system. To that end, our formal comments regarding the specifics of this case will be made through court filings," unquote. As the FBI and Secret Service were probing the alleged plot tied to the UFC event, a B-52 bomber that had been involved in operations related to Iran unexpectedly crashed in California, adding a separate and urgent military and aviation investigation to an already tense series of national security incidents. A huge setback appears to hit Trump's military inside the US just after Iran agrees to a deal. Trump's prized B-52 bomber reportedly crashes shortly after takeoff in the California desert. All 8 crew members are feared dead after the B-52 went down during what was described as a routine test mission. The cause of the deadly B-52 crash remains unknown as emergency teams respond to the scene. The B-52 crash near Edwards is now under investigation after the aircraft went down soon after takeoff. burning wreckage from the B-52 was reportedly seen in the Mojave Desert in what reports call the first such crash since 2016. The bomber is known for carrying a wide range of munitions, including gravity and cluster bombs. B-52 Stratofortress bombers were actively used and deployed during the Iran War.
Today, Edwards Air Force Base experienced a horrible tragedy, and we lost 8 great Americans. This crash is deemed to be unsurvivable, and right now our thoughts and prayers are with the families of those that lost their loved ones. We're sending teams out to notify the next of kin right now as we speak, and those next of kin notifications will take place over the coming hours and remainder of the day. It was a B-52 that was on initial takeoff, supporting the radar modernization program, which is it was a local test sortie. It took off and immediately after takeoff crashed and burst into flames. Our team of first responders snapped into action and immediately cordoned off the area and took the appropriate action to start putting out the flames. While that was taking place, our base responded in kind to establish an emergency operations center and a wing operations center to ensure that the command and control of all base agencies and the response for the recovery effort was underway. After reviewing the footage of the crash, it was deemed that this was an unrecoverable crash and unsurvivable. At this point, we don't have any indication as to what the cause was of this. We won't be able to release that information, and we don't have an ability to get that anytime soon. Right now, we're going to stand up an interim safety board to do the initial gathering of the facts, and that will then lead to a safety investigation board, which will look into those root causes. Once that's complete, it takes about 30 days. Then it'll go into an accident investigation board, and then that will determine all of the information that we can release to the public and to the next of kin.